Hello, friends. It's so great to be back with you and continue our series on the 15 commitments of conscious leadership. As we begin this series and we continue it this week over the next total of 6 weeks, we are really taking a look at what is it to spiritually acknowledge a conscious role in leadership of our lives in every area. So this includes leadership of everything that we're showing up as. Who are we being in the process of living and bringing our spiritual essence into our everyday lives in ways that we move society and are beginning with ourselves, and then also society forward from the victim consciousness to the movement of allowing spirit to work as me, through me, and with me. And we, instead of those that would believe that that life happens to us, we are taking a conscious step in engaging these 15 commitments. And these are radical if we truly take them to the depth of our being and begin to really examine both internally in a conscious and even our subconscious ways that we've played out the old belief systems in our world. If we have a chance of moving our world into a conscious community, it begins with us really being radical with ourselves. And so I'm excited about these, and I see them as spiritually significant and very practical in our everyday tools for living. So last week we began with understanding that we make a choice to live above the line or below the line. And above the line is open and curious and committed to learning. Below the line, which many of us have already gone past, is where we gossip, where we are closed off, where we are defensive to life, and we're committed to being right rather than committed to learning. You know, those kinds of ways of living do not serve us really creating the world that we're seeking. So this book is taking us through those radical agreements. And so the first one that we looked at as we looked at these conscious commitments, I want to get my page on this, is that we talked about taking radical responsibility. That was the first one. So the radical responsibility for my own life, and also how I show up with others. Because if I take full responsibility, I hold others accountable for full responsibility for themselves. And then secondly, we looked at learning through curiosity, becoming curious about life, and curious about everything that we experience. Everything is our teacher, and everything is a growth opportunity. So as we become more curious, we drop down some of those defenses. And then we looked at feeling all of our feelings, feeling them all the way to completion, to no longer carrying those old places of resentment and unforgiveness and fear and doubt, and feeling what's really there, having the courage to go deeply into that so that it gets set free. And there's tools in here for that being a radical transformative process for us. So you can watch last week's video or our Facebook live stream on Unity Bay Area, Houston. And this week, as we begin to take the next level, we're going to look at 3 more of our 15 commitments. So the commitments for this week begin with this commitment to speak candidly. Whoo, boy, candor sometimes is given a bad rap. But I believe that ultimately when we learn to speak candidly, and that's what this material is really teaching us as well, that we open up a level of truthfulness that really I'm authentic, and what I say represents my reality, and it's accurate. It's accurate about how I perceive and how I experience and how I express. So I get intimate with the ways that I communicate, and I do it with an openness. So it's not that I'm forcing my reality on you, but I'm aware and listening and conscious of how I'm engaging. And as a result, it creates a candor and truthfulness, an ability to communicate at a much, much deeper level in all of life. The second piece we're going to be looking at, the second commitment, is commitment 5 in here, which is eliminating gossip. Gossip is such a destructive thing, and we have many, many ways that we engage in gossip. And we use gossip because we're really using it to remedy things that are ill at ease within ourselves. So it creates a dis-ease and continues to perpetuate it rather than health and wholeness and vitality through more candid speaking, through going directly to the source of our challenge, or really looking within to identify where I'm separating myself from another, rather than experiencing our oneness and becoming curious and open and committed to learning from another. So we will look at that in more depth. We also are going to be looking at the third commitment this week, is going to be practicing integrity. Whoo, baby. This one is one that really challenges us because there's so many subtle nuances to living a life of integrity and to living according to our spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical integrity and truth of being, to be masterful in our practice of integrity, acknowledging our authentic feelings and expressing that which is the unarguable truth, but keeping my own agreements and taking 100% responsibility for myself rather than making others wrong. I am responsible for what is mine, and that is speaking truth, but not a truth that makes you wrong either. So it's a powerful week of really looking at how do we consciously engage a life of integrity, a life that eliminates gossip, a life that's in radical expression of our highest self, and begin to live in ways that excite and inspire ourselves. Because as we take on these commitments, we will show up as the truth of our true being. We will identify and clarify things within ourselves that we didn't even know needed to be clarified until we took these commitments on and made them living practices. What I also know is that our life becomes different. Our life becomes a flow. We attract and vibrate into our existence others who are living with this kind of a powerful, radical expression of a higher essence. And we change the world because we've transformed who we're being in it. Now, that will lead to inspired action. And it means that we'll show up and be taking action in our world in different ways as well. So this is a really powerful, powerful place to investigate. I invite you to, we've got the book in our bookstore and it's available other places, the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And join us on these videos each week and at our Facebook live stream at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday, or come and be with us in person where you get to experience one-on-one the vibrancy and aliveness and connectedness of our community at Unity Bay Area, Houston. I am honored to be a facilitator of this amazing work by Jim Detmer, Diana Chapman, and Kaylee Warner-Clem, and a facilitator of living aligned and vibrationally in resonance with a higher expression of self. Let's create a new world together. Bless you, friends. Look forward to seeing you soon.